is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are the Fox. We are the Lions.
My mom to me, she's everything. I'm a mama's boy myself.
She was always there for me, always at every game that she could be at.
Having her here and playing on Mother's Day is huge. I can't wait.
She's been a big part of my career and a big part of baseball for me.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom, and happy Mother's Day to my beautiful wife as well.
Feliz Día de la Madre, mami, te amo.
A beautiful sunny Sunday in downtown Cleveland as the Tribe takes on the Kansas City Royals, looking to take 2 out of 3 from the defending world champions. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning, and a special happy Mother's Day to all the moms tuning in this afternoon as the Indians try to get a series win. And Rick, in this series so far, really, in a lot of Indians games this year, if you miss the first inning, you miss a lot. The Indians, recently in the previous 3 games, they had scored 8 first-inning runs, and the Royals have scored 18 in the first inning. That's the most they've scored of any inning this year.
That's the way it is for these two teams. But the Indians in game 1 of the series, they scored 1 in the first and then a big 4-run third inning. And, that propelled them into game win number 1. And now Kansas City yesterday, after they get an out, they get a couple of base hits, and then a 3-run bomb is going to put them behind by 3 runs in the first. And Kansas City just went on to cruise. They shut out the Indians 7-0. So that's the way these two teams play. So you want to put zeros on the board, and if it offensively, you want to get out there and score as early as possible.
Well, the Indians have not lost when Josh Tomlin has taken the ball this year, and he's been particularly tough immediately following an Indians loss going back to a year ago.
No doubt about it. In 12 starts, he is 11-0, and Josh just has a very good feel. He's truly a good pitcher. He cuts it. He changes speeds. He keeps hitters off balance. And his offense really likes that because they're averaging over 6 runs a game when he is in there. So Josh is going to go out there. In his career, he's pitched more against the Kansas City Royals than any other team. This will be start number 13. He's 6-4. He's going up against a tough right-hander, Edison Volquez. But the Indians have had his number in the past, and last year he had a tough time throwing strikes against them.
And Josh Tomlin will be making his 4th consecutive start this year against a Central Division opponent. We'll have today's first pitch when we come back. Plus, Andre Knott will join us with a special Mother's Day story. Cleveland Indians baseball is brought to you by WB Mason, the official office supplier of the Cleveland Indians. By McDonald's, I'm loving it. And by your local Toyota dealers, visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. Pink is the theme of the day here at Progressive Field and throughout Major League Baseball. If you missed it earlier, Andre, when he was on Indians Live, showed you that players will be wearing the pink bats. They've got the hats with the special pink logos on the hats. Pink will be everywhere throughout the ballpark and on the field here today as we pay tribute to Mom, think about Mom, and with more on Mother's Day, a very special story. Let's go down to Andre right now.
Thank you, Matt. This is a special day for mothers throughout Major League Baseball and mothers everywhere. And we say happy Mother's Day to all of them. As you said, there'll be pink everywhere throughout the day with all the players. But for Tyler Naquin, who's no longer here, he has a story like many other players throughout Major League Baseball and many other guys throughout the country have, as his mother is a 2-time survivor of breast cancer.
Seeing her in the hospital right after surgery, like I said, it was just me and my brother, and it's a pain that you want to take away from her, and I would rather, wear all that, and I know Zach would too. He's the toughest dude I know, but it's something that builds character, as her, but also seeing it as well. Nobody wants to see their mom like that, much less a friend or anybody. And I can't even really speak on it because I haven't been through that. She has, and she's had close friends that have, had cancer as well, and they just beat that, and it's just a different thought process. Whenever when I found out for the first time laying in bed, I couldn't sleep, wondering how is she sleeping right now.
Well, guys, we all find our strength from different places. For Tyler Naquin and many others throughout America, I think they get it through their mom. I know I do, and I know most of you guys do as well. For Tyler, we hope that he's able to appreciate this day, even though he's not here with the Indians. As you'll see, there'll be wristbands, there'll be the cool hats, and it should be a very cool day here at Progressive Field.
Indeed. Thank you, Andre. Appreciate that. Yeah, the guys are decked out. You ever think you'd see the day where players will be wearing pink spikes?
No, not at all. I mean, they came out and they were pretty bright. I see the wristbands. We've seen the bats in the past, but now it's getting so over the top. It's going to uniforms. It's going to hats. It's going to spikes. It's going to just about everything. Pretty soon, they'll be total pink uniforms.
Well, I mean, the Indians uniform, unless we need to adjust the color on our TV monitors, the Indian script is in pink.
Yeah, I believe so. Yes,
and when you see the Royals come out today, they won't look like the Royals. They'll look like the Pinks.
They look like a totally different team over there.
They've got their uniforms all trimmed in Mother's Day pink as well. The numbers, and I believe the Royals script across the front of the jersey, or Kansas City rather, script. Yeah, so definitely a different look here for 2016 throughout Major League Baseball. As you said, we've seen the accents in the past, but now we're taking it the full uniform.
Yes, we are. That's quite all right, though. Happy Mother's Day to each and every one of you out there.
And the Indians and Royals are fighting for series rights here today. The Indians winning game 1. Kansas City came back and won yesterday to even up the series. So winner goes home with the series. And the way the Indians are playing, you'd like to keep that momentum within the division rolling. They're 9-4 within the Central coming into today. Josh Tomlin will be on the hill. Here's the lineup he will face for Ned Yost in Kansas City this afternoon. It is going to be topped by Alcides Escobar. Lorenzo Cain has 4 hits in the series. He'll bat second. Then Eric Hosmer hitting third. Kendry Morales had the big 3-run homer yesterday. Alex Gordon, Salvador Perez, Chesler Cuthbert, Christian Colon, and Gerard Dyson batting 9th.
And Josh Tomlin is our Northern Ohio Honda starting pitcher today for the Indians. Josh is perfect, 4-0. Pitched very well this year, and he's going to be facing the Royals, and he has faced them more than any other club in baseball, making his 13th career start. Last year, he was 0-1 in his 2 starts against the Royals, but 6-4 in his career, and he's been dynamite, as we told you many times, and I'm sure you've heard, after an Indians loss on 12 starts, he is 11-0. We'll see if he can keep that streak going. Let's check out the defense brought to you by Jeep. It looks like this behind Tomlin. Brantley back in the lineup in left field. Lonnie Chisnall making his very first start in center field. It'll be Bird over and right. Uribe at third. Lindor is at short. Kipnis at second. Napoli at first. Jan Gomes doing the catching.
Quinn Walcott will call the balls and strikes, and you see the umpires are in on the Mother's Day action as well. He's got the pink mask that he'll be wearing. Crew Chief Mark Carlson will be down at first, DeMiro Blackney on the bases. So we are ready for baseball this afternoon with a lot of sunshine overhead. 57 degrees at game time. Looks like just a very light breeze. Might help the ball out toward right center field. Escobar's in there. Tomlin delivers, and we're underway. The pitch up high, ball one. Escobar 3 out of 9 in the series. And a fastball hit to right field. Routine play from Marlon Byrd. And he'll put that away. One down. Keys to the game brought to you by Wayside Furniture. Strike first. That's the key for both of these clubs. Both teams, they score first, they got a real good chance they're going to win. And for the Indians, play solid defense behind Josh Tomlin because he's a guy that will make them put the ball in play.
Yeah, the funny thing is the Indians have only allowed 2 unearned runs this year. One of them have come with Tomlin on the mound. The other one with Kluber.
And that was, unfortunately, that was most of Josh's doing, if I remember right.
Yes, it was in Minnesota there with the pickoff play at first base.
Yeah, he had a rough night. That was a bad night. It was cold. It was damp.
But guess what? Still won the game.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. But you're right. It was. It was not very good.
Lorenzo Cain has found his stroke. Takes down low. Rick, for Lonnie Chisenhall making his, he made his major league debut. He played 1 inning yesterday, but for today, he's going to be out there, you would presume, for all 9 innings. What are you looking for from a guy who's never played center field?
Well, he's
in the big league.
Yeah, he's going to get a good look. We'll see what happens. It's going to be a tough Sun field early. He should play a little bit deeper, and I see he is playing deep until he gets a little more comfortable. But you know what? We'll have to wait and see. Tomlin is a fly ball pitcher, so he's got to be ready.
A couple of close pitches going the hitter's way. Now the 3-1. And Cain ropes it to left field. That's Tomlin. He's not going to give in. He's going to make you hit your way aboard. Good throw to second base, and Cain is see you later. Whew. He lost his head there for a minute. You don't run on Michael Brantley.
Well, he thought he was going to stretch it. Brantley had a play like that on Friday night, and the throw to second base, Kipnis couldn't hold it, or he would have had another runner on a very similar play to that. But this one is right on the money, and he has him by a lot. And I'll tell you what, Cain tried to drop that old slide in there. He almost hurt himself. Watch, he's going to try and pull a leg back, go around the tag, although Kipnis got him and he stayed with it. So he had him by plenty. So a nice throw by Michael.
There's a ground ball to short. Lindor flips it over, and the inning is over. Josh Tomlin goes through the first unscathed. Great play by Brantley and Kipnis. Now the Indians are coming to bat. of the first inning, and we'll take a look at the Tribe starting lineup. It's brought to you by Progressive. For Terry Francona this afternoon, Carlos Santana will lead it off. Jason Kipnis batting second. Francisco Lindor will bat third. Michael Brantley back in the lineup hitting cleanup. Then it's Mike Napoli, followed by Yan Gomes, Lonnie Chisenhall, Marlon Byrd, and Juan Uribe.
And Edison Volquez is our Northern Ohio Hyundai starting pitcher for Kansas City. The 32-year-old making his 7th start of the season. His record is 3-2. Same exact ERA as Josh Tomlin at a 3.13. Started out the year in his first 4 games 3-0. In his last couple of starts, he's 0-2 with a 7 ERA. 2-4 in his career against the Indians.
And Carlos Santana takes a called strike. Santana 0 for 8 in the series. Not anymore, I don't believe. High and deep to right. Dyson's out of room. It's out of here. Carlos Santana with his first hit in the series, and he made it count. A leadoff solo blast to put the Indians on top 1-0.
Well, the second time. He has not been leading off much, but when he has, it's already his second time he's hit a leadoff home run. Did it in Detroit, and he comes home, and he's going to do it here to give the Indians a 1-0 lead. So Santana, his 5th homer. That ball had a little carry on a bright sunny day. The Tribe will take the lead.
So Santana with a high, majestic blast to deep right field. And now Jason Kipnis. If there are varying shades of pink, then the shoes that Jason Kipnis is wearing have to be the brightest pink.
Hot pink.
Swing and a miss. And it's 0-2.
They are,
I mean,
man.
those babies.
You got to put the filters on the camera there.
You can see him coming from a couple of miles
away. Put your shades on at home.
Yeah. Jason and Alcides Escobar, the Royals shortstop, they both have the hot pink working. Now the 0-2. Down at the feet, makes him dance out of the way. Edinson Volquez. And a breaking ball, and a good job by Kipnis just to get a piece of that because it was disappearing down into the dirt. Volquez, 13-game winner in back-to-back years with 2 different teams. 2 years ago with Pittsburgh, last year in Kansas City. That curveball again, and once again, Kipnis fights it off.
Yeah, this is his 4th start in Progressive Field, where he's gone 2-4 in his career against the Indians. His last win came here on July 27th of last year. Allowed 3 runs on 6 hits over 6 innings.
Well, you know, Rick, you go back in an 08. Volquez looked like a budding star when he went 17-6 with Cincinnati with a 3.21 ERA. But then elbow problems and then violation of the performance drug use issues, Tommy John surgery. I mean, you name it. I think a lot of people figured, well, he's bottomed out, flamed out, whatever. But then in 2012, he bounced back, 32 starts with the Padres. And the following year with San Diego, even though he made 27 starts, his ERA was over 6. And yet still, the Pirates took a shot on him, and that's when it all really turned around for him.
He's one of another pitcher that turned his career around through Pittsburgh. I know Ray Searage, their pitching coach, he gets a lot of credit of it, and he's one of them.
Well, Ray's made, as you said, he's made some pitchers a lot of money.
Yes.
I wonder if he gets any bonuses.
No, he does not. But I'll tell you what, Pittsburgh's happy to have him.
Those guys get those free agent deals after going there. And Hey, you know, a little something for the effort, maybe, huh?
Oh, I'm sure he gets rewarded in ways.
Yeah. Kipnis really putting up a battle here. 9th pitch of the at-bat. And Volquez finally gets him, strikes him out, 1 away.
Let's check the defense out behind Volquez this afternoon. Gordon in left, Kane is in center, Dyson in right. Cuthbert at third, Escobar at short, Colon is at second, Hosmer back at first, with Perez doing the catching.
Eric Hosmer, the Royals' terrific Gold Glove first baseman. Francisco Lindor takes a breaking ball for a strike.
That can be his get me over, you know, curveball, strike one. A good fastball, 94, 95. Also has that circle change. Runs away from left-handers. Little comeback fastball right there. You can throw that front hip fastball with 2 strikes. He's got a number of ways he can get you out.
And he made quick work of Lindor, 2 away.
He didn't waste any time, stayed right with the fastball. Bam, he elevated, got it over the belt, throws it by Lindor. Back-to-back strikeouts for Volquez. 34 on the year. He averages about a hit per inning, and he's really close about a strikeout per inning as well.
Well, he's fan 2 here in the first. He's given up that hit, and that one went over the fence, so the Indians have the early lead. Michael Brantley did not play yesterday, back in the lineup this afternoon. He has started to really heat up offensively. Takes a fastball away, ball 1.
Brantley, a guy that has just worn Volquez out, 6 for 8 in his career.
Couple of fastballs, 1 away. That one ran it back over the inside corner. And a check swing. Michael didn't mean to, but he fouls it off, puts himself in the hole. 1-2. All fastballs so far here to Brantley. Does come with a breaking ball. It gets by Volquez, but it's backed up by Colon, and the inning is over. But Carlos Santana clobbers one to right field, and the Indians play from in front this afternoon, 1-0. Second inning for Kansas City. Kendry Morales, Alex Gordon, and Salvador Perez due up. And a strike over the outside corner. Morales, who claimed he's kind of been a victim of bad luck in the early going this year, got a pitch down and in and hammered it for a 3-run homer in the first inning yesterday, and it was almost as if a huge cloud had lifted over the Kansas City dugout. That gave him enough breathing room to just go out and relax.
Yeah,
and
it sure did.
They took it and ran with it.
That was an 0-2 pitch, by the way, and it wasn't a very good one. And he deposited that deep into the seats.
With the shift on, this is Lindor, who throws out Morales. Arcia in the driver's seat. Shows you that Josh Tomlin, when following an Indians defeat, goes out there and turns things around for the club in a hurry. So that's one of those stats where, okay, you throw it out there, it sounds good, and everybody says, wow, he must be the ace of the staff. This guy must be something different, must be something special about him. I'm sure there are a lot of different things that go into putting up a stat like that. One, you have to be a good pitcher. But two, some of it, and I don't mean to belittle it at all, but some of it may be just coincidence.
Run support.
But a lot of it is Tomlin, the way his style of pitching, I guess is what I'm getting at, is his style of pitching lends itself to this. He throws strikes, keeps everybody on their toes. They're in and out of the dugout fast. There's not a lot of long innings where they're sitting watching him walk guys, and I think that definitely plays into it.
Well, there's no doubt it does. He's fun to go out and play behind. He's about an 85 pitch guy. You know, when he's on his game, he's going to have a lot of innings. He averages 14, just over 14 innings, or 14 pitches per inning. And he has 5 outs, and that was what, pitch number 15? So he pounds the strike zone. He makes you put it in play. He has been fortunate. He gets good run support. But he's healthy, too. And he just knows how to pitch.
The 2-1 offering is hit hard to third, backpedaling. Uribe, long throw. Look at that, right on the money. And on 9 pitches, Josh Tomlin has his guys back in the dugout ready to swing it.
MLB.com @BAT app. Stay connected all season with radio broadcasts, video highlights, stats, news, and more. Download MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your smartphone and tablet.
For the Indians here in the second inning, Mike Napoli to lead it off. Then it's Yan Gomes, followed by Lonnie Chisenhall. Napoli on the homestand, 6 hits, including a homer, couple of doubles, and 8 runs batted in. And that has certainly been a big key in the Indians' 4-1 record on the homestand, hoping to make it 5-1 before they briefly hit the road for 3 games against the Astros, and then right back home.
Yeah, this is where you want to start taking advantage of your home field. Indians 7-6 at home, and Kansas City just 6-9 on the road.
Off-speed pitch in for a strike.
Another division game. The Indians off to a much better start this year. They're 9-4. Kansas City is 6-2, and you have to take care of your own business in your own division.
In the air to right field. Drifting back is Gerard Dyson. 1 away. Today's injury report brought to you by the attorneys at Elk & Elk. Mike Moustakas went on the DL when the series began with a left thumb injury. Got a small fracture in that left thumb, but they believe he'll be back in a couple of weeks. And when he went down, they called up Cheslor Cuthbert, and Cuthbert took over yesterday at third base for the Royals. That's in the dirt. Yan Gomes hitless in the series. You know, I know the one area that Gomes really wanted to improve on offensively was hitting with guys in scoring position, trying to be a more productive hitter. He's done really well in that category. But the overall batting average has slipped below 200.
Yeah. Yeah, Jan swings at a lot of pitches that are sort of borderline. That's a 2-0 pitch right there that really isn't a good pitch to swing at. It had run going inside, and you help him out. That'd be a better pitch, I think, to take and see what happens. You know, if it's called a ball, now you're hitting 3-0, but he can get aggressive. He's only walked 3 times this year and struck out 22 times. Now we'll see a 3-1 count. This is where a hitter likes to zero in, shrink the strike zone, and get very disciplined and swing at your pitch. You got one.
He fouled it back into Perez, full count. Now the payoff pitch, and he does take the walk. And a 1-out free pass brings up Lonnie Chisenhall. I think that has to be one of the hardest things in baseball for a hitter, is to forget about yesterday. I mean, it's one thing when you're going well, you know, you're kind of riding that momentum, you've just got that natural high about you. But when you're struggling, it's hard to just forget yesterday and bring a fresh new approach into today.
You learn how to do that when you come up to work your way up to the big leagues. Hitting's the toughest thing to do. It's failure every day. Even when you have a good day, you fail when you're hitting, because you're not going to have a perfect day, 4 for 4 every day or whatever. You know, you can hit the ball and do a good job, and you hit it hard and you hit it in the nose, but someone catches it. It's not your fault. You just have to find a way to stay positive And you have to separate. You have to separate your offense from your defense. There's more than one way to win a game.
Pulls it foul, does Lonnie Chisenhall. And I think to your point, if things aren't going well offensively, I think most guys, not all, but most guys want to hit their way out of a slump. And for Yan Gomes right there, a good example of, hey, 3-1, okay, got my pitch, fouled off 3-2, borderline. It's not a strike, I'm going to take it.
Don't get yourself out. You know that,
right?
Don't get yourself out. If the pitcher gets you out, it's one thing, but if you start helping them, then it gets really tough. I mean, that old saying when we were kids growing up for so long, a walk's as good as a hit. You know, you can walk your way and get on base. It helps. It helps your team. So you have to find any way you can to help your team.
No balls, 2 strikes to count for Lonnie Chisenhall. Shatters the bat. And a little humpback liner caught for out number 2. I always remember the wise sage Jim Thome, who used to say a walk and a knock keeps you out of slumps.
Well, yeah.
You know, that's,
with that walk, you're 1 for 3. That puts you in the Hall of Fame.
Instead of 1 for 4.
Instead of 1 for 4. Or even if you get a walk, you don't take those 4 at bats a day. It's only 3 when you're not swinging good. Then when you're swinging good, you get 2 hits and 1 walk. You're 2 for 3. You know, so that's so true. But Jimmy's a different type of hitter. You know, he was a guy that took a lot of pitches and he'd swing. He'd strike out a lot and he'd also walk a lot.
And he hit
a
lot of home runs.
Yeah, over 600, a real lot.
With Gomes at first and 2 down, Marlon Byrd to the plate. Well, it'll be good to see Jimmy and Albert later this summer when the Indians have the big Hall of Fame induction.
Yes, they do. Frank Robinson as well.
Yeah, oh man. How about the home runs those 3 guys put together?
Boy, it's going to, yes, indeed. It should be a very good weekend here.
1 ball, 1 strike. And a foul by Byrd puts him in the hole, 1-2. Marlin in an 0 for 12 slump right now, but doesn't feel like a slump because his playing time is sort of broken up. You know, he plays and then maybe a couple of days where he's not in the lineup.
Yeah, it's not an everyday thing because, well, they've had 5 outfielders until they had to make that move and they sent Naquin back.
You know, when a guy's playing every day and he goes into an 0 for 15, 0 for 20, boy, it really stands out. But when you're not playing every day, those streaks tend to be not as noticeable, whether it's a hot one or a cold one.
Well, the one thing about Byrd, though, he finds a way to hit the ball and put the ball in play. Even though he may not get a hit, he puts up a pretty good at bat.
There's a ground ball between third and short. Diving stop by Cuthbert. And he throws him out. Terrific play by Cheslor Cuthbert, who took a hit away from Marlon Byrd to end the inning. Enjoy a cold one. Stay tuned. Later in the game for Miller Time, brought to you by Miller Lite. And this might be the day where, hey, dads, get up and get Mama Miller Lite. Let her kick back and watch the ball game.
Absolutely.
You go mow the yard and do the house chores, and let's go.
Well, it's a nice, beautiful, sunny day.
Just don't cook the dinner. You'll ruin it. Dads aren't real solid in the kitchen. Some.
You better say some is right.
I can hold my own.
I know, Bobby. Bobby Flay.
That's my man right there. Chesler Cuthbert leading off. Isn't that the way it works? Make a great play defensively. They always seem to be leading off the next inning. But Juan Uribe says, you take one from my guy, I take one from you. One down for Christian Colon. Here are the Quicken Loans rocket arms. Strikeouts per 9 innings in the American League among starting staffs. Tampa Bay leads the way.
They surprise you, boy. You know, they have their little ups and downs, but they're back at 500 again at 14-14.
Christian Colon has gone 3 for 8 in the series. He was at third base in the series opener before they put Moustakas officially on the DL, and then he's been at second base last couple of games as Omar Infante has been out of the lineup. Big curveball.
Nice curveball.
Allen jumps ahead 1-2. The 2-2 is fouled back. You know, we were talking about stats with that rocket arms number there. Redbird looked up a doozy. So the Cubs, with their win yesterday, they're now, Rick, plus 100 in the run scored differential.
Already?
They're the first team to get to plus 100 before their 30th game since the 1902 Pittsburgh Pirates, who did it in 26 games. How long is it? That team predates the World Series.
Yeah.
The first World Series wasn't until the following season. So what the Cubs are doing this year, not only is it great for their fans and for their storied history.
They're putting numbers up early that go back a long, long time, aren't they?
Pretty scary.
It is.
First strikeout for Josh Tomlin. And with 2 down, Gerard Dyson to the plate. I mean, think about this. They wiped out the Pirates, their closest competition in the division. Now they're wiping out the Nationals, which might be their closest competition in the rest of the National League.
They're firing on all cylinders right now.
Two balls and a strike to count on Dyson. In some ways, they're a little bit reminiscent of that mid-90s Indians team because they've got some good young power hitters and they've got some speed, some athleticism.
You got to play for a while. They're only what 30 games into the season. There's a long way to go.
The 3-1. Big
Rod,
chopper.
Rod.
Backhanded by Napoli, and he lost the ball.
He went to flip it. He was going to flip it to Tomlin, and in the transfer, he dropped it. Made the catch. I would imagine that's going to be an error. He made a nice pick, and Kipnis would have been there. But you see, he makes it. Now watching the transfer. He had it and just never squeezed it. See how it fell out of his hand?
Yep.
Hey, give him a hit.
Oh, they gave him a hit.
Yeah, they gave him a hit.
Okay. Get the white out. 2 down for Alcides Escobar.
This is going to be a good matchup here. Tomlin, Dyson. No, it's not. He didn't give him a chance to run.
Inning over. Middle of the third. Cleveland 1, Kansas City 0. Indians on top 1-0. And Juan Uribe will lead off for Cleveland. Then we'll turn it to the top of the order. Carlos Santana and Jason Kipnis to follow. Uribe had a couple of hits yesterday. 4 for 8 on the homestand. Gives him now 11 hits in 29 at-bats here at Progressive Field. So he's making himself right at home in his new digs. And not only is he doing it at the plate, but with that smile and his personality, he's made himself a popular figure in the Indians clubhouse already as well. One ball, 2 strikes. Pop back into the seats below, actually, and onto the netting. Used to be into the seats below, but ever since they put the netting now.
You know, that was a big deal in the offseason, how every ballpark was going to do it to their own specifications, but really you haven't heard anything about it, and I'm sure it's helped out a lot.
Well, at least it's kept a few more people out of harm's way from those screaming line drives that go back into the crowd. Now the 2-2. And Uribe down on strikes. And here is Carlos Santana, who in the leadoff spot this year has started a game off twice with a home run. Once on the road against Justin Verlander, and then here today in the bottom of the first, he leads off with a homer against Edinson Volquez. Rick, you kind of get the feeling that we might see this kind of lineup throughout the year from Terry Francona. Not where Santana's going to lead off all the time, but we're going to maybe see him in and out of that leadoff spot from time to time.
Well, why not? I don't know if it's just coincidence or whatever got him going, but you know, he seems to do well there. I guess it all depends on how you feel he's swinging it. And you know what? There's no set way, and this is a lineup now that you may see it change all year long with Terry.
Well, you're right, though. He's 10 for 31 when batting in the leadoff spot. Which is better than a 300 average. And it's not as though Terry feels like Santana is going to change or be a different hitter. Now the 1-2 in the dirt. Just as Terry said, you know, if I put Kipnis in the leadoff spot or if I put Brantley in the leadoff spot, I know none of those guys are going to try to do something that they wouldn't normally do just because I changed their spot in the batting order. But Santana's patient approach in general does sort of lend itself to that leadoff position. I mean, the bottom line is, sure, you'd love to have a guy with speed leading off. But more importantly, you need a guy who gets on base.
If you have a guy with speed, if you have a guy that can, you know, this isn't a team that runs a lot. They pick and choose. You know, there are situations to run.
Kansas City's a team that you would classify that runs a lot, and they haven't been able to run a whole lot this year because they haven't been able to get on base as much.
And Escobar he's not your prototypical leadoff hitter, but they put him up there because he seems to thrive. He gets aggressive. He swings at the first pitch a lot. But then again, so do a lot of the Kansas City hitters.
Santana with a ground ball, but with the shift on, it gets through the legs of the shortstop. And how do you like that? Colon is there.
They may look at this one again.
The call is out on the field. Terry Francona says, hold it, we may want another look. That went right through Escobar, but Colon behind him almost saved his bacon.
Santana's walking off. Hold up, pal. He looks safe to me. That ball took a hop up over his glove, and let's see, he's safe. He's got to go back out there. You got to challenge that one. Santana's walking off. I thought just from the naked eye, he beat it. I really did.
That's a pretty good second look right there, and you could see the ball was not in the glove of Hosmer before the foot gets to the bag.
He's on the base right there, and the ball is going in. I think they're going to overturn this because, you know, after that ball jumped up over, I was thinking it was a great heads-up backup play. But I'm thinking there's no way you can get him because Santana looked like he was running down the line. He wasn't jogging. And that ball looked like it took a bad hop over his glove.
It did. It really did. It looked like he was in position and hopped right over his glove. But Colon did a nice job to get himself in position. It's a quick decision.
Yeah, it's got to be. He's got to be safe. Safe. Yeah, no question.
So Mike Barnett with another good challenge from the Indians video replay room.
Well, we had excellent looks at it, and no doubt, no question.
Now, what's your best guess on this? That's a hit, right?
Well, yeah, the ball took a hop.
You wouldn't give him an error there, would they?
Who knows? Let's look.
I mean, he was
E6.
He was technically in front of the ball, but
E6.
Okay.
I quit guessing anymore. I just wait till they put it up.
So a 1-on, 1-out. And Jason Kipnis, who had a good at bat his first time up, but went down swinging. Close play, right? It was going to be a close play, but Volquez, his throw was off the mark. I don't think Santana expected him to come throwing over there. And a low strike. Kipnis doesn't like it.
You know, let's take a look on our Nissan pitch track. You know what? That has some comeback to it. We haven't seen a lot of low strikes. It's not a bad pitch right there. It's awfully close. As a hitter, I don't think you're going to like it.
Anytime you see the catcher reach down and pull the glove back up, too, you know it's low.
It's pretty remarkable. I'll tell you one thing, Kip is a good low ball hitter. That's a pitch. If he throws it again, he can hit it. He can whack it. He likes that ball down. I'd rather see him call it down there. That, you know, it's so inconsistent around the belt nowadays.
Volquez with the 0-2, and he throws it by him upstairs. 4th strikeout, 2 down. Our great clip of the game from yesterday. Francisco Lindor with 2 more hits, giving him 5 in the series and 9 on the homestand. Got at least a hit in 3 straight games.
Volquez settling in.
Look at this number, Rick. Now that is some serious Mother's Day work on the spikes. Like a bouquet of flowers.
Kids are us.
Check, but it's called a strike.
Volquez, to this point, I know it's 1-1. He's got 9 0-2 1-2 counts. So gave up that leadoff homer, but he's been pretty darn good after that. He's settled in, getting into a rhythm of his own, much like Kennedy did for the Royals yesterday. He, if you remember, gave up those 2 hits in the first inning, then retired 14 straight. He started to settle in, and actually, that Kansas City ball club, as far as the starters go, they needed that as a team, because they were 2-8 going into their last 10 games, and the starters were just 1-8, so they needed a good start.
A little bit outside. 3-1. Pitch, it's a little bit high, ball 4. So an error, and now a walk, and the Indians have 2 on with 2 out. And Michael Brantley will be the batter, which leads us to our stat of the game, courtesy of Buick. Michael Brantley on the homestand, 6 out of 14, has bumped his average up 140 points.
Yeah, 4 of those knocks coming in 1 game against the Tigers. But you know, it's early. He's going to get it rolling. He had a really good night that night. Made a nice play in left field. Nice running catch and had 4 hits.
He checks, borderline, called a strike.
Yeah, this is top of the zone. See that? That's the high strike. I don't think it's going to get any higher than that. Still, you got to make him get it down.
Well, on the homestand, the Indians have done a number on the opposition with runners in scoring position. They got hot against Detroit. I mean, blistering hot against the Tigers, which is why they were able to sweep Detroit. They got hit after hit after hit with runners in scoring position. So overall on the homestand, a .356 team average.
This is where Volquez thrives too, and he has in his time that he spent in Kansas City, is that he gets extra tough when he gets runners in scoring position. the time he's been at Kansas City. Just a .215 average for the hitters. I mean, this is, you've got one of the best when he's on his game, Michael Brantley, with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. This is the guy you want up in this situation.
Well, him or Jose Ramirez. Jose Ramirez with 2 outs and runners in scoring position this year has been unbelievable. 6 for 11. He had the huge 5 RBI game with 2 outs the other night. But I would agree with you. Overall, if you had to choose sides, he'd be the first pick in this situation. Michael Brantley awaiting the 2-2. Hits it hard to center field, but Lorenzo Cain is there to make the grab. Inning over. Couple left through 3. Cleveland 1, Kansas City nothing.
Great story right there. Mom's going over there to help him out, pick him up.
Fourth inning, Josh Tomlin goes to work against Lorenzo Cain, who singled in the first, but tried to get greedy and go for a double, and Michael Brantley threw him out. Mentioned earlier, Rick, that run differential stat that the Chicago Cubs have put up this year, which is pretty impressive. In addition to that, so the Cubs have they've scored 100 more runs than they've allowed this year. Meanwhile, Kansas City and Tampa Bay are the only American League teams that haven't scored 100 runs yet this year. That's going to be trouble. Down the line it goes. Headed for the corner. Here comes Brantley, but this time he's not going to have a play because the ball just really slowed up once it hit that side rail.
Cain having a very good series here in Cleveland. That is his first double of the year. Maybe that's why he stretched it the first time. He wanted to get in the double column. Well, this time he does. Hit a ball down the line, had the count in his favor, and gets the double, so he has 2 of the 3 hits for Kansas City. Just stayed inside the line.
Eric Hosmer takes a strike. So while Kansas City and Tampa are the only teams in the American League that haven't scored 100 yet, 100 runs yet, the only teams in baseball that haven't allowed 100 runs yet are both teams from Chicago, the White Sox and the Cubs, along with the Mets and the Nationals. So no real surprises there with those pitching staffs, especially the way the White Sox have started.
Yeah.
Cubs, we know. We've seen the Mets. We know the Nationals have terrific starting pitching. And
well, we'll get a chance to see that firsthand throughout the course of this year.
yeah, Hosmer just did get a piece of that big curveball to stay alive. That time the pitch was up. Hosmer fouling it straight back. Stays 0-2. No chase, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Missing outside there, 2-2. So from 0-2 to 3-2 now for Hosmer. One 0 Cleveland leading it, but Kansas City after the leadoff double by Kane here in the 4th. Trying to put the pressure on. Payoff pitch. Hit a ton. Deep, and that's not playable. Wow. Into the Royals bullpen, I believe.
Yeah, that was a mistake. You watch where it gets the home plate, and he slowed it down for him. And he had him down 0-2. He threw a lot of pitches to him. He fouled them off. But that's a mistake pitch, and Hosmer gives the Royals a lead with his 5th home run. Watch that pitch. It's a breaking ball. I don't know if it's a cutter, but it's an off-speed pitch. It stayed right there. And boy, he hit it a long way. So another home run here for the Royals will give him a lead.
Two-1 KC. Nobody out here in the 4th. And Kendry Morales, a ground out victim his first time up.
Very well could have been a changeup also that stayed up. Coming out of his hand, it looked like a breaking ball, but it was an off-speed pitch.
Coming in, Michael Brantley makes the running catch, 1 down here in the 4th.
Now stepping in for the Royals, the left fielder, Alex Gordon.
Alex Gordon fly to left his only time up. Looks at the ball outside. He's got a base hit into center field.
Three hits in the inning.
Now stepping in for Kansas City.
There's a pitch. That's a lot of the plate as well. Gordon takes advantage of it, hits it into center field. You know, the key for Josh Tomlin is staying out of those hitting lanes on that home plate. Stay out of that the middle 9 inches of the plate and go to the edges.
When you leave him over the middle, big guys like Hosmer hit him a long way. 438 feet. The measured distance on that home run. Salvador Perez ground out his first time up. 0 for his last 9 at the plate.
Right now, Josh would love a ground ball double play to get out of the inning. This is the first inning he's really had to work. He's made a few mistakes in the inning, and they have capitalized.
Deep center. Back is Chisenhall. He won't make the catch. That'll hit off the wall. And coming around third, Alex Gordon is going to score all the way from first. Salvador Perez, with his 12th extra base hit of the year, extends the Kansas City lead to 3-0.
Oh, yeah, ball hit right on the nose. And we'll take a look at this pitch. Location, location, location. Yeah, this inning he has found middle of the plate, and the Kansas City hitters have made him pay for it. This one was smoked over the head of Chisenhall in center field. It's going to bounce, hit the big part of the wall, stay in play, but that allows Gordon to come all the way from first to score. A double for Perez, his 15th RBI, and they have a 3 spot here in the 4th inning.
His 12 extra base hits are the most among major league catchers on the year.
Well, 10 for 16 against Josh Tomlin in his career, so he owns him.
Chesler Cuthbert grounded out his first time up. And this second trip through the order for Kansas City has been a different story. They are 4 for 6 against Josh with 3 runs scored. Chesler Cuthbert picked up his first RBI on the year yesterday. Just his first game played. Swung on and missed. Cuthbert down on strikes. Second K for Tomlin. 2 down in the inning.
Let's take a look at the location from Josh this inning. You're going to see why they bit the ball so hard. There it is. Kane, he had the count in his favor, doubles down the line. Hosmer, just a bad pitch. It looked like a cutter to me. Goes a long way. Gordon right down the middle there. And then you watch Perez. Everything, it was center cut down the middle of the plate. And they took advantage of it. And they have their 3 runs on the board. And that's when Tomlin gets to that first strike where he gets ahead, that makes him that much tougher, because the Royals today, after Tomlin's gone to 1-0, they're 4 for 8.
Down low. In the air to center field, Lonnie Chisenhall will make the catch, and that will end the inning. But Eric Hosmer gets Kansas City on the board as the Royals strike back with 3 in the 4th to take the lead.
The corner in right field, where the new drink rails out on left, with a district ticket presented by Sports Time Ohio. District tickets are only $13, and that includes your first drink. So they are available online. Just go to Indians.com.
Mike Napoli going to lead it off for Cleveland here in the home half of the 4th, with the Indians trailing at 3-1.
Let's see if the Indians can get a response going here. It's been the leadoff homer by Santana. That's the only hit in the game. Last inning they reached on an error. Also had a walk but couldn't do anything. So just the one hit today for the Tribe.
Missed inside, 1-1. Now the 1-2, and that's up and in. Give him a shave. He evens the count. Only hit on the board for the Indians is the one that left the yard. That was Santana's solo shot in the first. Santana's last time up looked like maybe he would get a hit, but an error was charged. But really nothing to speak of offensively once again for the Indians here today, outside that home run by Santana. That ball's hit hard. Deep left field. Gordon looking up. Gone to Souvenir City. Mike Napoli's 6th home run of the year gets a little of that momentum right back, and it's a 3-2 ball game. And he swatted that thing, and it's shot out of here onto the home run porch in a hurry.
Number 6, second one of the day, solo shot. See where the pitch is looking. They want it down away. He ran that one back inside. He got it up a little bit, but boy, Mike Napoli caught up to that one. So he hit that heater onto the home run porch. Make it a one-run game, but they responded.
And now his first pitch curveball to Yan Gomes for a strike. Gomes drew a walk his first time up.
Watch this ball run into the barrelhead. Boom. And another nice sound to it. It didn't take long to get out of here.
And Gomes spun out of the way. And a count 2-1. Him up right field near the line. Dyson jogging in, and the speedster no problem running it down. One away. The Tribe will be in Houston. Short 3-game trip starts tomorrow night. Corey Kluber against Mike Fears. Our coverage begins with Indians live at 7:30. First pitch at 8 right here on the home of the Indians. Sports Time, Ohio. The Mariners walked off the Astros. Well, they didn't walk them off, but they beat them at home in extra innings last night. Luis Valbuena almost saved Houston. He got him into extra innings with a home run in the bottom of the 9th to tie it, but Seattle got a home run from Robinson Cano off former Indian Tony Sipp in the 10th to win it. Rick, Mike Napoli's had problems at times, like a lot of hitters, with a fastball above the belt. Why was he able to get to that one?
That one was running inside, you know, and he was short enough to get the barrel out of the bat to it. A lot of times if that ball's elevated, it's tough to get the barrel out there. You know, it drags. This time he caught it. It was running inside. It wasn't a straight four-seamer. His ball has a lot of run to it.
Volquez destroyed Lonnie Chisenhall's pink bat first time up, as Lonnie ended up with a broken bat line out to second base. We'll pop back into the seats.
Watch, this is the one that's going to run in. You see where it came in? And it came in where Mike's arms were just right on his swing path. You know, if you elevate it and it's away, it's tough to, unless you shoot it that way. If you go out to try and hook it around, the ball gets by you because it's got too much velocity on it.
And Lonnie with a line drive to right field for a base hit. Well, Chisenhall aboard. That's the tying run at first with one out here in the 4th.
Lonnie gets a fastball. Volquez, he got the heater right there, belt high, inner part of the plate, drilled it to right field. So the first hit that is not a solo home run for the Indians today.
There's Marlon Byrd. Marlon Byrd. You were talking about that short swing by Napoli to get to that home run ball. And I think of a guy like Marlon Byrd, another guy who, you know, he doesn't use long arms, doesn't have a big long swing. And there's that short stroke. That'll get down for a base hit. And Lonnie Chisenhall stops at second base. Yeah, might have got in and broke his bat.
Yeah, it did. You see where his hands are, he's low. He's a handsy guy where he's got to get him out there. But he can pull him in very well. You see where he gets those hands, and he let the top hand off the bat because that ball was inside. So he had no choice, but he put a short swing to it. Even though it shattered his bat, he got it in the left field for a base hit.
And now the Indians have a little something started in the bottom of the 4th inning with 2 on and 1 out. And And Juan Uribe, the batter, struck out his only time up. Slow chopper to third. Cuthbert looked to second. He gets the out at first base. And there are 2 down with 2 into scoring position.
Yeah, that's all you could do there is get your 1. It looked like he wanted to go to second base, but really no need. Look at him look. But he had trouble in the transfer there, so his only play was first base. I thought he was going to go there anyway to begin with. So that's 2 outs. On this Mother's Day, we want to send out a very special happy birthday wish to Yolanda Janiak of Fairview Park, turning 96. Happy birthday.
It's a mouthful. Well, let's see if Carlos Santana can deliver here. The tying run at third. The go-ahead run in scoring position at second base. Santana homered his first time up. Last time reached on what was scored an error. Ground ball that went through Escobar, but backed up by Colon, who threw to first. The initial call in the field was that Santana was out. But then Terry Francona went to the video replay challenge. It was overturned. Santana was safe. But the Indians could not capitalize in the inning. Down and in. Into the photo booth bay down there. You could hear it rattle around. That hit Igor's head.
There's Iggy. What's up, pal? You all right? Everything's good, boy.
It was that sound we thought it hit your head. And a 1-2 pitch in the dirt. There's Lonnie Chisenhall with the tying run. Marlon Byrd over at second base represents the go-ahead run. A 2-ball, 2-strike count for Carlos Santana with 2 out here in the home half of the 4th inning. And Volquez with the pitch. Low, and it's 3-2.
You got to remember now, first base is open, so he doesn't have to give in here to Santana. He can go ahead and try and make that perfect pitch if he wants to, and if he misses, then he'll have the bases loaded. But you know, he was ahead of Santana, and he's been trying to make that perfect pitch. Santana's been able to lay off of it.
Sunday crowd trying to make some noise, and out goes Salvi Perez.
That's exactly what they want to talk about right now. Perez, he's putting it down. Volquez didn't like what he was seeing, so let's go over it and talk about it. Get on the same page. This is one here where you don't really want to give in to the hitter. It's the 4th full count for Volquez this afternoon.
the payoff pitch. Low, ball 4. The bases are loaded. So, Rick, it appeared as though he just flat out said to Salvi Perez, I'm not giving in to him.
Well, I'm not going to throw him a strike because he's faced Kipnis twice and he struck him out both times. So that's what he was, you know, you're thinking about. Okay, I've had success with the guy on deck. Santana took me deep. He hit me hard the last time. So I'm not going to give in to him. I'll pitch around him and I'll take my chances. Now the pitching coach wants to come out and have his say with Volquez.
Well, Jason Kipnis coming to the plate. He has struck out twice on the day. What have you seen that has enabled Volquez to?
He has made some good pitches. He got the fastball by Kip last time. Remember, he got that low strike 1 to get ahead in the count, and he got him out with a fastball upstairs. The first time up, he made a good pitch to him. But Kip right now, he's gonna, you know, this third time through, he should have a pretty good idea what Volquez wants to do. Breaking ball missed.
With that tying run just 90 feet away, Volquez has thrown 8 pitches in the dirt here this afternoon. And only 1 wild pitch on the season. Another one in the dirt, but Perez is just, he's tough to get one by. He's a big body. And
he's a backstop back there.
It's like when you're a kid and you play wall ball.
He's like a goalie guarding the net that he's twice as big as the net. Well, Kipnis in a good count here to sit on something he likes.
And a ground ball backhanded by Colon. And the throw to first. Hosmer had trouble finding the bag. He missed it. Everybody's safe, Hosmer argues, and Ned Yost may go to the video replay challenge.
Well, he was
for the moment, the game is tied.
He was searching for it. Volquez said he had it. The umpire was on the back side of first base. They're going to the replay.
Hosmer adamantly telling Ned Yost, I touched the base.
Yeah, and there you'll see. Watch him search for it. He's off the bag to get it. He goes to get it, and now he's coming back. He's feeling. Still hasn't had it. Maybe the heel got it right there. I'll tell you what, if the heel didn't get it, then he's safe. You can't tell there. I think he might be safe. I don't think the heel got it. Here it is. Let's see here. Missed. He's going up. Toe missed. He's not down yet. I don't see that thing hit. He's still searching for it. Boy, oh boy, I'll tell you what, I'm going to have to agree.
It looks like right here, it looks like maybe the heel touches the corner of the bag, but is it conclusive?
No, I don't think so. I think that call's going to stand. He was off by about a foot, and you could see where he just kept searching for it. And it was the heel to me on our first angle. When I wasn't sure if the heel hit it. I don't think it did. And I don't think his toe got there as well. So I think they're going to stay with it. Oh, no, I'm always wrong again. What's new? I can't get him right.
Well, it depends on, it all goes down to what the guy in New York is looking at. And does he make a reasonable assumption that Hosmer's heel comes down on the bag based on the video evidence? Because it doesn't appear to be conclusive that he touched the bag. He keeps the lead by the smallest of margins. By the
cleat.
By the cleat of Eric Hosmer's spike. He convinced the video replay judge that he had his foot on the bag. It was very close. Here's a pop-up on the bunt. Tomlin says, "Thank you very much." 1 out. All right, let's take another look. It appears, if you look closely, it appears that you could make the logical assumption that Hosmer's left foot, not there, but here, does touch the corner of the bag. Boom.
I still think he was away. Why'd he go back and try and touch it again?
See, and right there you make the point. If he had touched it, then why was he still searching for it after that?
I know it's awfully close, but to me, is there enough evidence to overturn it because he was called safe? That's what what I'm talking about.
I didn't think it was.
I've seen other things like that before where they haven't been able to overturn it in similar situations. But hey, it's over with. You got to move on. They had an opportunity. They did respond, and Kansas City is lucky. Let's put it that way. In that situation,
it certainly did not appear to be clear and convincing. Let's put it that way.
Well, and now Tomlin needs to come out and have a quick 1-2-3 inning. He got the first guy on one pitch with the bunt, and he's ahead of Alcides Escobar right now.
Wow.
Pretty good pitch. Take a look at this. Looked like a cutter on the inside part of the plate, maybe a little in off the plate.
Escobar trying to shoot him the other way, but it's foul. And the 2-2. Big curveball bounces at the third base. Routine play for Uribe. 2 down. This is what we're told was the replay angle that was used to overturn the call.
Well, they're assuming that he hit the bag right there. That's the only thing that can be said.
You know, sometimes a replay situation doesn't involve a run scoring play. That's a huge replay challenge because it took a run off the board. This ball's hit deep to center, and Lonnie Chisenhall makes the catch right at the 400 mark in straightaway center field. So Chisenhall, with his first start in the big leagues in center today, makes the catch, and the Royals go 1-2-3. Cleveland Indians baseball is brought to you by Levin Furniture. For the best deals on furniture and mattresses, shop Levin's. By your Northern Ohio Honda dealers. And by the Cleveland Clinic. Access anytime, anywhere. Evidently, Edinson Volquez has a problem with the pitcher's mound. We're just now getting the grounds crew out to take care of whatever it is that he doesn't like.
Well, on the corner of the mound, it looks like there's a little hole, maybe where he puts his foot. He and Tomlin don't hit the same spot, or if they do, it's a little too deep. You see that hole in there, and he wants it filled in a little bit.
Well, every kid watching this game today who's played on a little league field or high school field would look at that and say, "Are you kidding me?" You should see some of the craters that these kids have to pitch out of.
Well, they don't have the guys and the people to work on the fields, of course. Yeah, you may be up to your ankle in a hole.
Exactly.
When you talk about some of the fields the kids play on, no doubt. But you can see the clay they're putting in there. They'll tap it down. And it's funny, I don't know who's digging it out, if it's Josh Tomlin or it's Edinson Volquez, but Volquez is the one that wants it filled in, so I'm thinking Tomlin may do that on that side of the rubber.
I don't think I've seen, I don't know that I've seen this happen during a game, Rick, where they had to come out and literally fill in a hole in the middle of a ball game like this. I mean, sometimes I see it where the landing area, that happens, especially if you get guys who maybe land side by side or real close to each other, and you know, your landing area might slip into the other one.
Well, they're doing a little doctoring up. That'll be fine.
Well, Volquez still has not thrown a warm-up pitch yet, so this is a lengthy delay. Our in-game recap brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. This game began with a Carlos Santana homer in the bottom of the first. Leading off for Cleveland, it was 1-0. But the Royals would come back in the fourth inning on an Eric Hosmer two-run homer. Two batters into the fourth inning, and it was 2-1. Three batters later, Salvador Perez made it 3-1 on an RBI double. And then Mike Napoli got the Indians to within a run in the home half of the fourth with a solo shot. And that is where we stand, as Edinson Volquez now free to make his warm-up tosses.
Never notice it. Put a little that diamond dust, raked it over the top, and it's back to normal.
I just would assume that most pitchers would dig out a little bit of an area there because that would give them ability to push off.
So hold, I'm sure they do, but that one may be a little deeper than normal, I guess. That's like in the batter's box for hitters. You know, a lot of them have different spots where you stand. Not as much now because most everybody stands on the back line of that batter's box. You know what I mean? So that's probably dug out pretty well throughout the course of the game in every ballpark. But guys used to stand in different spots of the batter's box. You'd have certain holes, and sometimes you just have to pick your best hole.
Now I want to see a hitter come up there at some point and say, timeout. I want the grounds crew to come out and fill in this hole in the batter's box.
Well, wake me up if it ever happens.
Yeah. I don't think so. Who was the guy that went to sleep in the old fairy tale? What was the guy?
Rumpelstiltskin?
Is that him? Is that the guy that went to sleep for a long time? That's who you're going to be. Francisco Lindor has struck out and walked. Rip Van Winkle, there we go. I knew Murph would know.
Well, he just got done reading the book.
He's reading a lot of those these days. Lindor with a line drive base hit in the center field, and the Indians have their leadoff man aboard. Rumpelstiltskin.
Well, if you couldn't remember, how do you expect me? There's a high breaking ball. Lindor gets all over, gets a base hit up the middle. So for the Indians in the first 4 innings, for the most part, they had their 2 hits. It was solo home runs, and then last inning they were able to add on a couple of singles. Now they get another one here to lead off the 5th.
Here's Michael Brantley, 0 for 2 on the day, a ground out, and he is also flied out. Lindor takes off, got a great jump, but Brantley fouling it back out of play. He liked the pitch. And rather than allow Lindor a chance to get into scoring position, he swung away and fouled it back.
Had a tremendous jump, had him timed, and by the time he could look back, he didn't see where the ball was hit, so that was a straight steal right there.
We'll try again now as Brantley takes aim on Volquez. There goes Lindor. This time Brantley takes throw down, not in time. Lindor with his 5th stolen base on the year. And that was a pretty good pitch for Perez to throw on. It was up, and he still couldn't get him.
Yeah, well, Perez is the best back there. He's been able to catch 10 stolen bases. There are guys trying to steal bases this year, but not that time. Little high. Lindor gets his 5th. That's always nice too. Now there's nobody out. You have a chance to get him over and in.
Foul back out of play. Well, happy birthday wishes going out today to Amy Kyler, who's the head softball coach at Notre Dame College and one of the top pitchers in Cleveland State's history.
Happy birthday, Amy.
Tie the ball game up with a line drive base hit into left field. Lindor sprints home. 3-3 in the 5th. Brantley's 7th run batted in on the year as he delivers a clutch opposite field base hit.
Well, I think the pitch before he tried to pull the ball over to the side that he fouled off, and then he just stays, and he's himself right there. That ball's away, and he stayed right on it and drilled it into left center field. Not only did he get him over, he got him in. 7th ribby. We have a tie game and still nobody out. Both teams with 3 runs and 6 hits.
And now here's Mike Napoli. And Napoli, he was looking dead red.
Little cambio, changeup.
Yeah, he got. Napoli smoked a home run to left his last time up. I don't know what kind of read the Indians might have on Volquez. Brantley, not a burner, but he's a very good base stealer.
Well, Volquez, he's slow to the plate. He's about 1-4. It's a little above average. So he's a guy that if you get into a count and you pick the right pitch, he'd be a good one to run on, even though Perez is a very good catcher.
count 2-1 for Napoli. Volquez nearing that 100 pitch mark. The bullpen up with the left-hander Duffy ready. That's low. 3 balls and a strike. You would assume, though, Volquez is on there to face Gomes, who follows Napoli. And so the 100th pitch of the afternoon for Volquez is low, ball 4, and the first 3 have all reached safely in the 5th for Cleveland. And with nobody out, Yan Gomes coming up. This inning started with Francisco Lindor making it happen, Rick.
Yeah, jumped on that first high breaking ball for a base hit, and he took off, and he knew he could steal a base. He took off earlier in an at-bat. So you steal second, nobody out. Brantley's going to drive him home. So there you go. You tie the game up right there. Now they have an opportunity to take the lead because they have runners on first and second and still nobody out.
Broken bat by Volquez. Colon, the second baseman, flips to second base. And they get the force as Escobar took the feed to get Napoli 1 away. Brantley to third and Gomes safe at first base.
Well, this is why they went for the. He couldn't tag him, but they still went for the lead runner, and it was awfully close because the double play is still in order now. Now you have the left-hander out there. You want to bring him in to face Chisenhall, but it seems like Yost is in there. He's going to give Volquez a chance to make a pitch, get a double play. But Gomes, very aggressive, swinging at a pitch in on his fist, that first pitch. And it wasn't hit hard enough to turn a double play.
Well, here's Lonnie Chisenhall, who shattered a bat his first time up. Last time up, he had a line drive single to right field. And Lonnie looks at a strike, not sure he was in agreement with that call by Quinn Walcott. And Volquez in a tough spot gets ahead. Interesting outfield alignment. The Royals figure Chisenhall's either going to dead pull it. Dyson's over toward the line in right field, but Kane and Gordon are bunched together toward left. So they figure he's either going to snap pull it or he's going to try to fade it the other way. There is an enormous hole to right center field.
Well, Lorenzo Kane very shallow in center field. He can go get him though. He can run. So he's first fastball in the at bat. He comes up empty.
Breaking ball, right center field, base hit. Indians take the lead as Brantley comes home from third. Gomes stops at second as Chisenhall delivers with his second hit of the afternoon.
And Lonnie got to a breaking ball. It jammed him, but he still gets it out there. Gets it into right field in front of Dyson. The afternoon is going to be over for Volquez. So the Indians kept pecking away, and in that 5th inning, they were able to put 2 on the board. They take the lead off Volquez.
Not only do they take the lead, but Rick, they knock him out after just 4 1/3 innings here today. It seemed like he pitched better than what he really did.
Well, they have his number. They've had a lot of success. He's 2-4 in his career against the Indians. They find a way to get to him.
Haven't beaten him up, but they've knocked him out of the game. And the Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen has been made. The lefty, Duffy, coming on when we come back. Edinson Volquez should have left the mound the way it was because after the ground crew came out and did their thing, he faced 5 hitters, gave up 3 hits, and walked the batter.
Yeah.
And his day over. Danny Duffy, the left-hander, coming on now for Kansas City. And he'll be facing the right-handed hitting Marlon Byrd with Juan Uribe to follow. Byrd 1 out of 2 with a base hit his last time up. Indians leading it by a run now.
Yeah, you'd like to see him add on if they can down to the bottom part of the lineup, but you have the lefty coming up. He chose not to bring him in for the left-handed Chisnall, but now he's going to face a couple of right-handed hitters. So we'll see how this works out.
Byrd can't catch up 1 and 2. Fly ball right field. Back goes Dyson. Still going back. He won't get it. It hops over the wall on a bounce. An RBI ground rule double. Gomes will score. Chisenhall will stop at third. And Marlon Byrd has extended the Indians' lead with his 9th run batted in on the year. His 4th double. And the Indians greet Danny Duffy with a bolt to deep right field. This ball really jumped off his bat.
It almost to me sounded like a cracked bat. Maybe not. It can be if it went that far. But this ball, ground rule double. He stayed on it nicely. It bounces into the seats. So there you go. They're adding on. That run will be charged to Volquez. And Duffy gives up an inherited runner and one more to go.
Infield in. And Lionel Uribe getting after that first pitch, fouls it back.
For Danny Duffy, he allowed 3 inherited runners to score on Wednesday, back when he faced the Nats of Washington. Chris Medlin game. It snapped a streak of 6 scoreless appearances. So there's that double. It brings in an inherited runner, and he has one more on third base. This is could be an awfully big run here.
Uribe fouling it straight back. Up the gut. Fielded by Escobar, and the throw to the plate they get. Ronnie Chisnall for out number 2.
Looks like Chisnall slid on the bat. After the bat was thrown down, Escobar decides to come to home plate, and it's sitting right in the baseline. He went down, and I think he landed on it. But he is out at home plate. Escobar had to go to his left, but he has enough time to get it. And look at the bat sitting right in the baseline. Here comes Chisnall, landed on it. But they get him out at home plate. So that's a big second out for Kansas City.
Carlos Santana taking up high, ball 1. Santana homered in the first, reached on an error in the third, walked in the fourth. A little bit outside. Now the 2-0, and Santana with a foul straight back. Carlos Santana got the Indians on the board first this afternoon. Then they fell behind, but they have come back now to regain the lead. High pop. He should get him out of the inning. Into foul ground. Hosmer dropped the ball. He had it, but it squirted free. And Santana has new life.
All right, he's got no glasses on. Not that you need them, but when that ball went up, I saw him look to the second baseman and like he didn't want any part of it. Then he picks it back up. He runs over there. It's right into the glove, and he can't believe it came out. I mean, it couldn't have hit him in a better spot. It hit in the pocket, but it jumped out. I saw him. That's going to be an error.
Even a Gold Glover has a miscue once in a while.
You know, it didn't look like he wanted it right from the start. I think he looked over at the second baseman thinking he was going to call him off.
Well, it looked like he overran it initially, too. The 2-2 pitch. And a chopper to third. This should do it. Cuthbert will throw it over, and the inning ends. So no harm on the error. But the Indians have stormed back with 4 unanswered to take a 5-3 lead on Kansas City.
start at just $10 for kids 12 and under with the purchase of an adult ticket. The tickets are located in the family deck at Progressive Field and are only available at Indians.com.
Lots of families enjoying Mother's Day at the ballpark. And the Indians coming from behind to take a 5-3 lead. Still a long way to go in this game. We're only in the 6th. And Eric Hosmer hit a 2-run homer in the 4th, leading off for the Royals. To center field. Lonnie Chisenhall will make the catch. Well, if you remember back early in the year, we had those rainouts, off days. So Josh Tomlin had to sit and wait. What did he go? 17 days between his last start in spring training and his first start here in the big leagues. Let's go down to Andre. What did he do? What did he learn during that time?
He said what really helped him more than anything else was pitching to some of the guys that weren't playing a lot. You remember we were in Tampa and he pitched on the side one time. He says he got feedback from guys that told him more about what the ball was doing. He says he didn't think it would help him as much as it has, but he told me a couple days ago it's got him comfortable knowing what his ball is going to do, especially with him being more healthy than he has been over the last couple of years.
You get that kind of feedback firsthand from the hitters. You know, as you always said, the hitters will tell you what your stuff is doing as far as if they're crushing it or if they're missing it. But to get that kind of from your own teammates, hey, your ball's diving or it's darting or it's doing this or that.
You remember we had Paul Bird right into the defense.
Can't forget Bird, man.
Well, remember, he was playing for the Royals at the time, and I remember him telling us. Remember we went with that double windup?
Yeah.
That old school windup. He said a lot of the hitters, when he was throwing to guys like that before he came back into the rotation when he was hurt, came out and said it's deceiving. You know, it's tough to pick up the baseball. So he went back to an old school windup, and he said it seemed to help him. So the hitters gave him a little input in there, and he incorporated that into his game.
Left field slicing, that's going to be out of play. Just now getting some action in the Cleveland bullpen is Zach McAllister is heating up for the Tribe, but Josh Tomlin still, as you see, there are only 72 pitches. That's kind of typical. He's normally a very efficient pitcher. Now, one thing with Josh, whether you get him or he gets you, he's not going to dilly-dally and wait around all day for it to happen. He's not going to stand out there and walk 16 guys and put his fielders to sleep. And once again, that's been the case here today. Yeah, he's given up 6 hits, but hasn't walked a batter. He's made them earn their way on. 13 outs have been recorded on 3 pitches or less.
Yes, and you go back to that 4th inning. He just found the middle of the plate that inning for whatever reason. You know, and they made him pay. They let him know, hey, pal, you're making mistakes. We hit it.
We don't have to tell you.
Indirectly. they told him, and I'll tell you what, he came right back the next inning, had a quick 1-2-3 inning after they put some runs on the board, and here we go. This is Josh, man. This is the way he goes. Look at that.
Gordon wails away at it, and Tomlin on 9 pitches retires the side in order. He has set down 8 straight. Your game with our PGA pro, Jimmy Hanlon. He's got terrific tips to improve your game, and he'll talk about what's going on in the world of golf on the tournament side. Get inside the golf zone with Jimmy Hanlon tonight at 8 on Fox Sports Ohio.
Jimmy had those pink pants on for Mother's Day, huh? Did you see him?
No.
Okay, yeah, he did. Yes, he did.
Jason Kipnis will lead off here in the home half of the 6th. And Danny Duffy spins him out of the way. Luke Hochevar warming for Kansas City. Kip swings through it, 1-2. 5 runs on 8 hits for Cleveland. They've left 8. 3 runs on 6 hits for Kansas City. They've stranded just 2. Foul off to the left into the seats. Throw it by him. Good fastball up to 95. 1 down here in the 6th.
Well, next weekend, as a matter of fact, Friday, it'll be a Friday the 13th. It'll be the first Sugardale Dollar Dog night of the season. The Indians will take on the Twins. Come on out to the ballpark. Enjoy Sugardale hot dogs for $1 all night long, as well as $3 sodas, $4 12-ounce beers. Just go to Indians.com.
Bouncer to short, backhanded by Escobar. Lindor retired, 2 down. I want to send out condolences today to the family of Jimmy Van Fossen, originally Centerburg, Ohio. He was a regular at Fort Myers Beach and a beloved fixture on a number of places down there. And so to all those who knew and loved Jimmy V, we feel for you today. He was a huge Ohio sports fan. The Buckeyes, the Indians, the Browns, Cavs. Michael Brantley takes a strike. He's 1 out of 3 on the day. He drove in a run his last time up, and he came around to score. Not surprising that Brantley would be right in the middle of an Indians come from behind rally here today.
Duffy has done a nice job today since coming in. He's thrown 21 pitches. 17 of those have been strikes. He did give up the double to Bird, but after that he's settled down and been very tough.
You know, Duffy's a guy that you wonder, Rick, is he just a victim of circumstances, or was the stuff just not good enough? You think of him as more of a starter as opposed to a guy coming out of the bullpen?
We've seen him both ways, right? We've seen him as a starter many times. Had some injuries, filled in, and I don't know. I guess, you know, he would be starting if they thought he was a starter.
Right. He just took care of the Indians right quick. 1, 2, 3 go the Indians for the first time today. Cleveland Indians baseball is brought to you by the injury lawyers at Elk & Elk, proud partner of the Cleveland Indians. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. And by Ford, built Ford tough. And now we head to the 7th inning with the Tribe in front 5-3. Josh Tomlin back out. 49 of those 76 pitches have been strikes this afternoon. 12 out of 23 first pitch strikes. He has recorded at least am I reading that right? At least 2 outs every inning have been on 3 pitches or less.
Yeah, yes, that's Tommy. Exactly right. And that's his style, you know, and you have an aggressive team in Kansas City that like to swing the bat. So I can understand it. It makes total sense. It's not that they're a patient team. They're last in the league in walks. They have 68. They like to put the ball in play. So they can make, you know, Tomlin, it doesn't surprise me. You can have some innings where he's going to be under 10 pitches.
You know, you think back to that at bat with Hosmer, where he hit the home run in the 4th inning. Was that the one where he had him 0-2?
Yes,
and
it
went
is.
Back to 3-2?
Yep. Had him 0-2. Sure did.
Perez to left field. That's going to get down. That's going to go to the wall. Brantley with a long throw, but Perez beats it. And he's got a leadoff double for Kansas City. And Terry Francona looks like he's made his decision to go to the bullpen.
Yeah, well, that's a guy, though, he came out to face the guy that's the toughest on him, you know, is Perez. We gave you the numbers, and he's going to start the inning off with a double. So now McAllister will come in with that man on second base.
Josh Tomlin goes 6 innings here this afternoon. He can win it. He cannot lose it. He'll leave with the Indians in front 5-3 in the 7th. Today, Rick, from Josh Tomlin was vintage Josh Tomlin. He had one stretch where the Royals gave him some trouble. Outside of that, he was really good again.
Well, he keeps the ball down. He changes speeds. He's pitching against a lineup that's very aggressive. So if he stays out of the middle of the plate, he's in good shape. He had 3 strikeouts on the day. You know, he gets a lot of hitters guessing wrong. And that, to me, should have been his day. But he came back out, gave up a double for this inning. But I'll tell you what, another good start for Josh. 6+ innings, 7 hits. To this point, just the 3 runs. And his offense came to his aid. They have given him 5 runs. And now it's going to be Zach McAllister to try and come on and hold this ball game.
Now McAllister will be facing Chesler Cuthbert with 1 on. Nobody out, and the pitch up high, ball 1. That's going to get out of play. 11 out of the 13 games that McAllister has pitched in this year have been scoreless. The only trouble spot for Zach is that in his last 4 outings, over 3 2/3 innings, he's walked 4 guys. Which, as we know, when you're coming in and out of that bullpen, you've got to make them earn their way on.
Yes. Well, it's a good spot with his fastball here. You come away, boy, perfect pitch. Outside edge. Can't hit that one. Puts him ahead to count 1 and 2.
And a breaking ball hit toward short. Backhanded by Lindor. Long throw. Napoli had to come off the bag, and Lindor's upset he couldn't quite get it on target.
You know, we've seen him make that play 2 times this homestand, and he was accurate with both throws. I think this time maybe rushed it a little bit because this guy running, he still had time. He gets rid of it quickly. He had another half a step where he might have been able to get that arm up a little higher and make an accurate throw. I'm sure it's going to go as a base hit. But he had the opportunity. We saw him, but now it brings Napoli off the bag, so it's 1st and 2nd now for Kansas City, and we got to be in bunt mode here, I would imagine.
Christian Colon 0 for 2 today, but has 3 hits in the series. They pinch at the corners looking for the bunt. He doesn't show it and takes low, ball 1. So if indeed Colon is still bunting,
and maybe they're not going to square around and bunt Colon here. We have Dyson on deck.
If he is still bunting, he didn't tip his hand.
No.
And he singles down the left field line. Scoring is Perez. The tying run, Cuthbert. Around 3rd, he'll be held there.
Yeah, with nobody out, you can't do anything there. You got to be safe.
And Colon rips a double.
And that's why they weren't bunting.
Just by Uribe at 3rd base.
Well, now they have the inning set up. He smokes this ball. It was right on the nose, and I don't know if Uribe touched it. He sure did. It went off the end of his glove. And watch him deflect this ball, and it slows it down a little bit.
Oh,
right off the fingertips. Game of inches. They get out of the way, but now they have the tying run at 3rd, the go-ahead run at 2nd with nobody out.
In all of this with the bottom part of the lineup. This is Gerard Dyson 1 for 2. Brian Shaw up here in the 7th inning. Nobody out. Slow chopper to short. Lindor coming home with the throw. Gomes applies the tag, and he's out at the dish. Oh, that's a terrific job by Yan Gomes to hang on to the ball, because Cuthbert, charging to the plate, dove for the dish and made pretty good contact with the glove of Yan Gomes. I don't think he was really able to protect that ball in there with his bare hand, but he kept it in there, and they get a huge out.
I'll tell you what, it was not very good base running by Cuthbert because he stopped and hesitated, and that enabled Lindor to come to home plate. And any good base runner, if he takes off on contact, which maybe he started late, let's watch him coming out as soon as that ball is hit. If you run, you got to go. He hesitates. And he picked it up, but not in time, as he's going to try and slide around the tag. So a nice out for the Indians at home plate.
Timeout for a pitching change. Brian Shaw will try to protect a one-run lead for the Indians when we come back. Indians lead, but Kansas City threatening still after getting a runner thrown out at the dish. They've got 2 on, and with only 1 out, Brian Shaw coming into the ballgame. He's got the top of the order to deal with, though. Alcides Escobar. Indians could use a double play in the worst way.
Well, that's the break that they got with the play at home plate.
Escobar
Colon stayed at second base.
has only grounded into a pair on the year.
And he'll try and shoot him the other way to stay out of the double play. You'd like to see him try and pull a ball. Napoli way off the bag at first base, sitting in that hole between first and second, and that's where he's banking that he can get it. So Shaw's going to really have to get off the mound if he hits the ball to first base, because it's going to be tough for Napoli to get back. Turning the double play.
Well, here we go. Kipnis to Lindor, back to first, double play ends the inning. Oh yeah, Shaw gets the 2-for-1 ball, and the Indians hold on to the lead 5-4. 6-4, Indians on top. And last night, a little history. Bartolo Colon became the oldest player in the history of Major League Baseball to get his first home run.
How about that? Got a fastball off James Shields. Look at the dugout. I mean,
how long did it take him to get around the bases?
Well, it doesn't matter. And he was sprinting. But look at him. They tried to give him the silent treatment. They all went down in the tunnel, and they came back. God, they can't stay away from Big Bart.
T-Mobile, greater coverage of baseball, and just a really neat story for Colon.
Randy Johnson did it, huh? At 40 years old, also. Colon's done a lot of things late in his career. If you would ever said when he was younger he'd be 42 years old still pitching, I would have bet the ranch on it. But he is, and he's still pitching successfully. Well, Luke Hochevar on now for Kansas City in the bottom half of the 7th inning.
Yeah, big Mike Napoli homered back in the 4th inning. Swing and a miss. Cuts and misses, and the count now 1-2.
This is a guy back this year that's certainly going to help this bullpen in the setup role.
Now, you know, he had the Tommy John surgery, and then earlier this year he had a little elbow problem. You know, just didn't feel right, and I think everybody was collectively holding their breath, going, "Oh no!" But they gave him a couple of days rest and seemed to bounce back and okay. Shattered bat, bounced to short, and Escobar throws him out 1 away. Well, in the 5th inning, the Indians turn the game with 3 big RBI hits. One from Dr. Smooth, Michael Brantley, and then Lonnie Chisenhall. The 2nd hit of the game drove one home. And ultimately, it was Marlon Byrd who capped the scoring for the Tribe with an RBI double. Gomes with a high drive, deep center. Back is Kane, makes the catch in the middle of the warning track, 2 away. Hit it to the big part of the yard.
Now approaching the plate for the Tribe, center fielder Lonnie Chisenhall.
Lonnie Chisenhall, 2 for 3 with a run batted in. No balls, 2 strikes. Chisenhall batting in the 7th spot here this afternoon. couple of walks in the series opener and scored a couple of runs. Down on strikes on 3 pitches, and we'll go to the 8th with the Indians nursing a 1-run lead. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Cleveland Indians and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians. Eighth inning. Defensively now, Rajay Davis comes into the ball game, takes over in center field, and Lonnie Chisenhall moves over to right. So in the outfield, Brantley, Davis, and Chisenhall now for Cleveland. And Brian Shaw stays on here in the 8th inning. He'll face Lorenzo Cain, Eric Hosmer, and Kenry Morales. Shaw got a huge double play ball to get out of the 7th for the Indians. And a strike call.
Cain has had a good series. Soria is up and getting loose in the Royals bullpen. 2 hits in every game for Lorenzo.
Down on strikes is Lorenzo Cain. 1 away. 7th inning, the Royals got within a run, and now they're threatening. And what happens? Lindor comes home with a throw. Great tag by Gomes, hangs on to the ball.
Oh, then the pitcher's best friend. He gets that double play to turn it and get out of the inning.
Eric Hosmer 1 for 3, but that one was a big one, a 2-run homer in the 4th. And gave Kansas City the lead. They were up 3-1 going into the bottom of the 4th, and then the Indians scored 4 straight. Hosmer takes a strike. And he's in the hole. 1-2. Upstairs with it. 14,463, many of them enjoying the sunshine. It was 57 at game time. It's warmed up a little bit, up to 59 here in the late afternoon. Wow. Awfully close to take, but Hosmer laid off in a full count.
See if he tries that cutter on the outside part of the plate, and it was off. It was off the dish. Just the teasing pitch. See if you can get him to chase.
And that was a, I guess you'd call that an emergency swing.
Yeah, that ball was inside total.
Look at Hosmer. He's laughing at himself, thinking, I'm not sure why I even swung at that. It couldn't have been a strike.
Well, 3-2, so you're protected. You're not gonna, you don't want to leave it in the umpire's hands if you take it. That ball was way up and in, but you got a piece to stay alive.
Broke his bat and fouled that one off. See, that's why I guess, I don't know. Is it mindset, or how is he so sure to not swing at that 2-2 pitch that looked awfully close? And yet the last two looked pretty clearly that they weren't strikes, and he swung at both of them.
Well, he must have been looking away, and he felt that that pitch was away. I mean, maybe it was a lot farther away than you think from that camera angle. If we have the over top camera angle that we had a couple of times that we were able to see, you can tell.
You keep lobbying. I love it. Don't give in. Here's Eric Hosmer digging back in. Shaw comes set, the payoff pitch. And he lays off a ball bounced in front of the plate. And the Royals have the tying run aboard.
Now stepping in for Kansas City.
Well, if you can't watch the games on TV, stream them on your mobile device. Go to the App Store, download the free Fox Sports Go app, log in, stream the Tribe wherever you go. Kendry Morales is the batter. Shaw with one on, one out. Shift on. Left side of the infield is wide open. Let's see if Morales is trying to pull one and put the Royals on top. Yep. Wasn't sure if maybe he'd look to just give in and punch a base hit over there.
No sirree. They're giving it to him. Not until maybe 2 strikes. He's looking. We'll see if that foul ball, a direct hit to the umpire in that pink mask.
Threw it by him. And Shaw gets ahead 1-2. And now Shaw's 1-2 delivery. Runner goes. Pitch up and away. Swing and a miss. Throw down to second. Double play. Strike him out. Throw him out. Twin killer ends the inning. Terrific throw by Yan Gomes as he cuts down Hosmer trying to steal second base. And the inning is over. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. Indians up by 4. Indians on top, bottom of the 8th inning, and Joakim Soria will come on for the Royals, making his 16th appearance on the year, 2nd appearance in the series. And he's got Marlon Byrd, Juan Uribe, and Carlos Santana. Indians leading at 5-4, and Cody Allen is warming up in the Indians bullpen. See if the Indians can add any insurance. Rajai Davis leading off. Forgot he came on and goes into the batting spot of Marlon Byrd. He went into the game in center field. Smoke to left field, but hooks foul. Look out, ball boy.
Well, he knew he had enough room. There's people down there with the gloves. It looked like somebody made a pretty nice catch.
Now Joakim Soria with the 0-2 pitch, and it's way outside. That foul off the mask of catcher Salvador Perez, but a glancer, not a direct hit. Strike 3 called. Did you see the way Perez put his glove out there and really motioned to Soria? Look, hit. This is where I want it. And Soria, watch how he puts it. Now watch what he does. Right, see, boom.
Yeah.
Right here, right here.
And it came in a little bit.
Yeah, it actually came.
But he wants him to aim out a little, a little farther than normal, because that's what you do when you're ahead in the count.
Yeah, you're right. I think he got more of the plate than he really wanted.
And maybe Perez knows that. You aim a little farther out, he's going to get it inside there anyway.
Juan Uribe 0 for 3 on the afternoon. And Uribe got a hanging breaking ball. What a diving stop by Cuthbert. Throws him out.
Holy smokes. What a big league play.
Are you kidding me?
I'll tell you what, I thought that was extra bases down the line. And this kid made that's the second nice play he's made today. This is a great play. I mean, it stayed up, but he got up quickly and fired a seed. What a beautiful play. Nobody could do it any better.
You'll have to send Juan Uribe an apology after the game. That was straight thievery. Now Mike Swanson, the venerable public relations guru for Kansas City, told me before the series started, he said, we really think that this Cuthbert kid's going to be okay defensively, should handle himself pretty well, and just hoping he can hold his own until Moustakas is back.
Well, he's made a couple of nice plays in today's ball game. One going to his left, that one going to his right.
Well, they saw him for a handful of games a year ago, so it's not the first time he's been in the big leagues, but he's got like maybe 19, 20 games under his belt. 2-1 to count for Carlos Santana, who homered to lead off the game for the Tribe. He's also been at the plate for 2 Kansas City errors, and that's something that the Royals don't do a lot of. They're very buttoned up defensively. But he reached on an error in the 3rd inning, and then he was at the plate when Hosmer dropped a pop-up in foul ground that gave him a second chance, but he ended up grounding out anyway. Hard smash. Escobar will throw him out. Cody Allen will try to close it out. It's a 1-run Indians lead as we go to the 9th in Cleveland.
Progressive Field. Cody Allen is on to try to save it for the Tribe as they try to win this series against Kansas City here today on Mother's Day, along with Jensen Lewis, Al Pulowski. Join us for Indians Live after the game. It's brought to you by Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care. Well, the Indians are in this spot thanks in large part to response runs.
Yeah, and I think none bigger than Mike Napoli. Edinson Volquez had settled in after the 3 runs that Kansas City had scored, but Knapp comes back with a big solo homer. And Rick, I want to ask you, do you feel like it kind of changed the confidence of the Indians offense going back, because it looked like Volquez had settled in at that point?
Well, you're right. They have 8 response runs on this homestand, and that was a big one right there. It made it a 1-run game, and that was you know, the inning ended when they had that replay. They could have tied the game that inning. They didn't, but they certainly responded. They come back, they scored 3 in the 5th inning. Anytime you can respond, it certainly changes the momentum.
Cody Allen will try to close it out. His 13th appearance of the year. He's 7 out of 7 in save situations, so disregard the ugly numbers on the screen. From Kansas City, it's Alex Gordon, Sal Perez, and Cheslor Cuthbert. And Cody Allen misses up high, ball 1. Gordon singled and scored back in the 4th. Jose Ramirez defensively now at 3rd base. Gordon popped to center. Rajay got a good break, and he'll make the catch. 1 down. Recapping our keys to the game, courtesy of Mazda. Well, the Indians led from the 1st inning on. They fell behind and came back, trying to hold on now. Defensively, they have played solid. And you look back in that 7th inning, really good defensive plays helped get him out of trouble.
Boy, it sure did. Play at home plate and then the double play to get out of the inning.
Salvador Perez having a good day, both doubles. His only hits in the series. Oh, what a change of pace by Cody. You can see Perez way off balance. He was out front. He was looking fastball, and what happens? He gets the hook. Now Cody's 0-2. Another breaking ball, but he held up. And a 1-2 count.
Look from the side, and ooh, baby.
Closer than I originally thought.
Me too. They could have called that. I've seen worse.
Struck him out looking. That curveball had the plate. Perez is out number 2.
Comes back inside with the breaking ball that time. Wasn't going to go away. He had him almost fishing the pitch before, so he straightens him up. He couldn't pull the trigger. Perez didn't like it. He thought it might have been high, but it is called. 2 outs.
Cheslor Cuthbert has never faced Cody Allen before. And it all comes down to this in a 1-run game. Fastball, strike 1. The 0-1 delivery. Swung on and missed. He chased the breaking ball in the dirt. And the Royals are staring at their last strike. And this Mother's Day crowd loving it here at Progressive Field. Deep breath from Cody. The 0-2. Off the end of the bat. Game over. Indians win it. They take the series. They beat the world champs 5-4 this afternoon and take 2 out of 3 from Kansas City to go to 15-13 on the year. And what a homestand as the Indians go 5-1 against the Tigers and the Royals. Josh Tomlin improves to 5-0 on the year as Cody Allen nails down his 8th save in one of his most dominating performances with a 1-2-3 9th inning. With the loss, Kansas City falls back to 500. Losing pitcher Edinson Volquez also 500 as he is 3-3 now on the year.
Boy, they came back. It was, again, Josh Tomlin does exactly what he has to do to find a way to win after an Indians loss.
Yeah.
And it really is amazing. He had one hiccup in the 4th inning where he found the middle of the plate. The Royals ended up scoring their 3 runs, but the Indians had some fight back in them, and they were able to come on, and they hold it the rest of the way. As you mentioned, good defense in the 7th inning, and the Shaw, Allen, they did their job. They win the series. So now in the division, that's their 10th win. They're 10-4. They are now 8-6 at home, and we make a little brief road trip to Houston, and then we come right back here for the weekend. So a great homestand by the Indians.
I really like the fight they showed today. The fact that they did fall behind after grabbing a 1-0 lead. It was 3-1 Royals. After yesterday, you didn't know what the offense was going to do, but boy, they really came back, knocked Volquez out in the 5th inning, and they get the win. 5-4 is the final score. We'll be back with some final thoughts right after this.